Hello, people. Um, I just ended my first, well, just finished my first support group with Alyssa Zanders. I remember her last name. I purposely remember her last name so I could share it with you guys. Um, and her YouTube channel is Codependency Alchemy. Um, and she's pretty amazing young girl. Um, a lot of the things that she shares make so much sense. And you never thought, like, obviously I never thought that I would be able to correct or change certain pattern behaviors, um, without therapy and knowing all that stuff. But she has so many exercises that that help us kind of break out of those patterns and stuff. Um, so I did have, it was a little bit, not that tough of a day today. Um, it was just a little bit last night. Um, part of the issue that I have with my roommate, as we changed it, is that I have a difficult time sharing with her, and um, and that really kind of stuck with me when she said that. And she wants this over. She's done with the relationship, and she shared that. And she was very assertive when she said, "I am very transparent. I say what I mean." Um, so she said she doesn't want us here anymore, and I get it. She doesn't want to continue with the relationship, and so it is what it is. Um, it is difficult because we're still living in the same house, right? Thankfully, she has a king size bed, and I sleep in one end, she sleeps in the other. But it is still difficult, because it doesn't matter, there's still love there, right? Um, but this morning when I got to work, the great thing about the support group is that you can chat back and forth with Alyssa. And I sent her a text and I shared with her. I asked her a question. I said, "Why is it so difficult for me to share with my partner?" Um, and of course, she does shadow work, which is basically, you answer your own question. And so she asked me, um, so how do you feel when um, when when you have to share something with your spouse? And I said, I feel like I am weak, like she's gonna think that I am incapable, or that I'm not able to do certain things. And then she asks me, okay, so then what do you feel when so it's like continuing. You go back and forth, or not back and forth. You just kind of keep adding to it. Excuse me. And so finally, there's a whys and the whys and the whys, or the hows. Actually, how do you feel? And what it the results, the ending result was that sorry, my allergies. The ending result was that I'm going to, I'm afraid that I'm going to end up alone and die an old woman alone. And the ironic thing about that is that that's exactly the direction that this relationship is heading, right? Because I honestly thought, and the reason why I turned my life around completely and moved to this state, was because I saw my life with her until old. We were going to be two old women in love. And in my mind, that is still the image that I have, and my desire. But clearly at this point, that is not the direction that we're headed. And I do not want to put that little glimpse of hope again in my mind, because I don't want to fall back on that. I don't want that to be the push that is going to help me become a better me, because then I'm not doing it for me, that I'm doing it because, oh, in my mind, we're going to end up together again. So, by doing this shadow work that, that, is part of this support group, I've realized that by not sharing my thoughts, and I did not know, obviously, then why I didn't share. Like, I just didn't share. I didn't see a point. But now I know that it was because of fear, that, oh, if I share, then she thinks that I'm not capable, and or she's not going to be happy with me, or I don't know, whatever the situation was that I didn't want to share. And it had the same result, right? So had I just not have that fear of sharing, and share, I mean, it could have possibly been the same result, or maybe it wouldn't have been the same result, but I will never know, because I chose not to share because of my fears. Kind of makes no sense, right? But all the perfect sense. I hope that, that these videos, that somebody is watching these videos, that and use them, not to make the same mistakes that I've made. And things, life for me is getting a little bit easier. um I still have not found the place, but I my goodness, I have faith. I know that I'll have a place before the end of May, which is the agreement that we have. And I know that I will be I will continue to improve myself, because as Alyssa said, that her breakup with the man who loved her, and she kind of rejected the love, or pushed the love away, was the catapult, was what allowed her to see the pattern behaviors that she had acquired just to protect herself. And that's exactly the reason why I did the things I did. Maybe when I shared as a child, I would get in trouble. Like, I know as a child, I was never able to freely express myself. And I know that when I did, it was not considered ladylike. A lady needs to be quiet and listen. Um, and, and maybe that's something that I use, so I didn't get in trouble. So if I don't speak, I don't get in trouble. And if I don't share and get people upset, then they won't like me. But I'm learning the damage that it has caused. And I want to make sure that that doesn't happen again. And I also want to make sure that I teach these skills to my son. I don't want my son to I don't want my son to suffer the same fate, to think that this behavior is an accepted behavior. And at some point in my life, it was a survivor skill. But it's no longer, and I don't need to resort to that. So, as difficult as it is, because it still is, as difficult as it is, I am going to continue sharing with Marlissa, although, the relationship is no longer. And I'm going to try to, I'm not going to try, I'm going to, as, Alyssa says, ask yourself, or ask myself, why am I being triggered by whatever I get triggered by when it happens? Like when she asked me last night, why didn't you share that? I did get triggered, and I didn't respond. I didn't respond to her, but I was triggered. And I should ask myself why I was triggered. And I think that part of the reason why I got triggered was that, so we're not working on a relationship anymore. So, why should I share? And I do not want to bring back any glimmer of hope if there's nothing there, because then I think that I'm going to regress, and I'm going to think, oh yeah, she does love me, oh, everything is going to be okay, and then I fall back to my old ways instead of continuing to move forward. And I don't want that to happen. I want to make sure that I continue on this path of sovereignty, of self-worth and self-love, and not have to rely on, oh, she does love me to feel good. I need to make sure that I find whatever it is that makes me feel good. And it's crazy that it is only with her. I don't think I don't do this at my job with anybody. I really don't care if people like me or don't like me. I kind of keep to myself. I do my job and I keep to myself. Um, but it's important to me how she feels, and how I make her feel. And then it has an effect on how I feel. Well, I have schoolwork to do, so I'm going to look into that. I don't want to fall behind and get stressed. I don't need to add more stress to the stress that I'm under right now. Um, but I will continue on this path, and I know that I'll be okay. I just need to make sure that I continue moving forward. All right. I don't know if there's going to be a second video today, but I will continue, to share if there's any triggers and how I've been managing those triggers. And I really do love doing the inner child work. And like I shared in my last video, like I can't wait to kind of talk to that badass 13-year-old. All right. I'll see you next video. Bye-bye.